feel like some of that.
If I'm here, will you be able to see me?
Yeah, still.
So
But if you go,
Yeah.
nah, stop. That one I can't see you, sir.
So until here.
Yeah.
And when he says I saw, what will you say?
I see.
I saw.
I see.
I saw. Apa, Ryan?
Oh, I saw it. I saw.
And I saw, not very good to look at.
I saw.
Alright. So everybody laugh. Yeah, so that was basically it when I went to stand up, say good morning to Mr. Addy. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Alright, thank you. So yeah, so the expo was amazing, So I can understand why people can stay for 3-4 hours, but it depends. Okay, still a little bit early. Okay, we still got 2 more minutes, so you can relax, talk to your friends. Alright. Who else went to the expo? You went to the expo? Yeah. How long were you there for? Like 30, 40 minutes. 30, 40 minutes. Parking where? You use a bus shuttle or did you just walk up?
Walk up. With a takes like 30 minutes to get the line parking.
You go to the expo. I did want to do Maktab, things like that. So don't forget, next week, some good news from principal. She already signed it. We're going for our field trip. Okay, so next Thursday is confirmed. This class, plus the other class. Okay, so we're going to go on a field trip. I'll talk more about that because I promised to let you know about that. We're going to go on a field trip to look at A2 maths movements. Okay, so just to let you know, okay, I already got confirmation for that from the principal. Anyway, before we start, Sabrina, can you help give out these objectives, please, to the students? Objective. This will include today's objective, and also later at the end of the class, you will do it as normal. Exit card. Okay, write one fact in today's lesson and a question that you may have. But more importantly, for today's objective. So pass that up, please. Okay, I think we can start now. Okay, before we start, I would like to invite Dini. Can you say the Dua, please? Thank you very much, David. So before we start, as usual, I want to set high expectations and standards. I want deep thinking. Okay, what's deep thinking? I want you to be aware. I want you to concentrate. Okay, I want you to enjoy today's class. But before we start on today's class, just a little bit of feedback on the homework. Okay, I looked at some of your homework yesterday. Everyone, excellent case study. Okay, especially on the G gorgeous tab. Yeah, your diagram was very good. Okay, so maybe once I've marked that, maybe in the next 2-3 days, because it's long essay, okay, we can do presentation to 3 students with the best marks. I think you got 18 out of 20. Fantastic. Okay, very good. Don't forget, our exam. Our exam is on the 24th. Okay, so we've got about how many days? 21 days. Okay, you minus tomorrow because tomorrow's not really a school day, but you still got to go. Tomorrow is sports day. Okay, so good quality work, diagram, case study, excellent. Can we read the objectives, please? The very nice voice of Darwisi. Can you please read today's objectives in the handout that I just gave you?
The objectives are understand, analyze, evaluate. First, understand it, then point to the
Okay, so today we have 4 objectives. Thank you, Darwisi. Before we start today, at the end, the reflection for today will be done by Irfan and Darwisi. So today's lesson, okay, I will write most of the stuff here, okay, what I'm going to talk about today, so you can do reflection here, but if you can remember it, that's even better. And don't forget, at any point of the time, remember when the principal came here, when did the principal come? Last month, she agrees with IG. So take as many photos as you can. I already asked your parents' permission. We share. Okay, Darwisi, thank you for adding the IG information. When was that? 2-3 days ago. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so before we start, I need to ask questions to check your prior knowledge. Okay, I'm going to ask different kinds of questions. What I call this is dialogic questioning. The first one, yes or no question. Have we started topic 4? What's the name of topic 4? Very good. Nuwaira, close type of question. Is it true that we suffer from pollution? What are the 3 types of pollution? Okay. Water, land, and air. Very good. What is pollution in Malay? Anybody want to try pollution in Malay? Yes? Pencemaran, very good. Nuwaira, what kind of pollution would you say Brunei suffers from the most? Water. Why do you say that? Kampung air can be a little bit dirty, but I've been going on walks to that bridge. Every now and again I see these 2 green boats with 3 men each. They have a net and they're trying to pick up the floating rubbish. Okay. And then open type question, can you elaborate how someone would know air pollution is occurring?
I think I can 5 senses.
5 senses. What is
The most obvious would be sight. Because air to the eye is invisible, unlike smoke, which has a distinct color.
that's good. Continue.
Second one would be smell. You can smell it, air cannot smell it, but smoke has like a very it's harmful. Yeah, which will lead me to my third point, which is what can affect your health. And how will it affect your health? By that, if you consume a certain amount of harmful pollutants, it will lead to long-term effects such as heart cancer, disease, asthma. Yeah.
Give him a clap, that's all. Really good. Okay. So like you said, visibility, you can see it. Brunei's air, if you must guess, is very, very good. Okay, one of the cleanest. But sometimes when you go up, okay, Shabana, at a distance, you can see. Okay, sometimes, especially when there are forest fires. If you look at this atlas, where is Brunei located? Brunei is located on the 3rd largest island in the world. Can you see? Borneo. Can you see that? Brunei is located on the island of Borneo, the 3rd largest in the world. So what happens? The capital of Indonesia is Jakarta. But Jakarta is starting to sink. So what are they doing? The government of Indonesia is trying to move from Java Island to Borneo. Not only that, during the 1970s and 80s, they had a program, a compulsory program called transmigration. Indonesia has a lot of people, almost 500 million people. So the government said, you cannot live at Java anymore, you cannot live at Sumatra anymore, you've got to move to Borneo. And most of these people that move to Borneo, they are either farmers or fishermen. So what did they do to the jungle? Mostly, they cut it and then they burn it. So every now and again, when the monsoon occurs, northeast monsoon, when the wind occurs, what will happen? Smoke would travel from Kalimantan, not just to Brunei, but also to other parts of Indonesia, Singapore, and also Thailand. So if you just look at this simple map like that, it's not very easy to draw. All of you are experts, so like that. Remember, it's a sketch drawing. This is Brunei over here, correct? This is the equator. So when they burn the forest here, when you get that wind, ITCZ, remember last year when we talked about AS? Remember guys, it's always good to use AS notes and things like that. When the wind blows, that's why we have Can anybody tell me what haze is called in English? Starts with the letter J. Yeah, very good. Give it a clap. Very good. So that's a simple map explaining air pollution in Brunei. The next type of question, what's that question? Yeah, where's yeah? Can you tell me what are the possible outcomes of air pollution? If air pollution occurs, what are the outcomes?
There are possible outcomes,
Two possible outcomes.
which is good and bad.
Air pollution can be good and air pollution can be bad. We talked about it, continue.
The outcome is that once you get even that but the bad outcome is that children will suffer from asthma.
Fantastic. So when you see pollution, don't think everything's negative. It always comes out in the exam. Later we'll discuss. What are the impacts of pollution? What are the consequences of pollution? What are the consequences, impacts of pollution? And you know, most students, they don't do well in the exam. You know why? They talk about the negative. You've got to talk about the positive as well. I know it seems ironic. How can air pollution be a positive? It can be a positive because it will create awareness in the government as we see more introduction of clean energy, renewable energy, but not only that, electric vehicles. Very good, yeah. Next one, Ryan, the focusing type question. What is the problem faced by population living in a polluted area?
There is a poor quality of life. Many people are sick. And eyesore.
ISO, what's an ISO?
The area is
Tidak cantik dipandang, that's right, an eyesore. Okay, so if you see too much garbage, too much pollution, okay, an eyesore. Okay. Another one that we see, can you volunteer for the next question? Who would like to volunteer? Okay, you. Which is the most polluted country in the world? We looked at a few case studies. Which country is paling kotor? Not saya cakap ya. Because we looked at evidence. Which is the most dirtiest country in the world? Remember? Yeah, actually there are two. They're quite close. What are those two countries? Do you remember? Kazakhstan, very good. And the other one is? Correct. Give him a clap. India and Kazakhstan. The PSI is about, what was it? 128 to 130 PSI. Brunei, very clean. Okay. Brunei, Airflight, Brunei, quality. What was the range again? That's right. Very good range. Okay. Brunei air is very fresh. How do you say Malay? Segar. Is that okay? Alright, so before we start, I need to summarize the next lesson. Well done, everybody answered that question correct. During the last few days, we've been talking about pollution. There are three types of pollution: air, water, and land. Why are we talking about it? Because it's negative for human beings. But more importantly, we're doing it because of this. What is this? This is the exam. Okay? For the stress. Right? So we want to get good results. And the case study that we used, we had to choose two because sometimes in the exam they are tricky. Okay, we had to choose one air pollution in the HIC and one air pollution in the LIC. So we had to do two case studies. Because guys look at me, sometimes in the exam they don't just say evaluate air pollution in a place. They are specific. So you need to know HIC, high income country, and LIC. And the HIC that we talked about was England. Okay? I showed you some TikTok videos about London, whereby the blade cutters go and they cut down the cameras. Why? Because London had introduced a scheme called ULEZ. What does ULEZ stand for? Let me say, why not? Girl, are you laughing? That's right, ultra low emission zone. So if you go into London or the nearby boroughs, if you have a car, if you drive into London, you have to pay £12.50. Every time you go into London, £12.50. Unless you have an electric vehicle, unless you have a Euro Standard 4 petrol engine, unless you have a Euro Standard 6 engine. If you have a car like mine outside there, I drive a Pajero. If I were to drive into London, £12.50. Did you imagine if Brunei Madrasah Government Gado and Kila introduced that? Every time I took $10. The kecuali kamu ada kereta elektrik ataupun the newer engines. So some people didn't like that. Okay, so that was one of the case studies. We also looked at how successful it was and some of the disadvantages. The second case study that we did was on Jakarta. Odd even number. So you look at the license plate. Let's say your license plate is BA. Let's say BA 1, 2, 3, 4. You look at the last number. 4 is an even number. So if your license plate ends with an even number, you can go into Jakarta on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But if your car is 1, 2, 3, 5, 5 is an odd number, you go on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Why did they do that? Because Jakarta has 18 million cars. Million is 3 sixes. Jakarta, not Indonesia, just Jakarta. And every day, the number of cars in Indonesia, new cars, is added by how much? Anybody remember? 1,000. Good. Every day there are 1,000 new cars. How many cars are there in the whole of Brunei? Around 425,000. But according to the JPD, not everybody pays road tax. Okay, maybe some people have a car but they didn't renew the contract, the insurance and road tax. So according to Brunei, it's about 385,000 cars. You could have reading numbers? Alright. It's not max class, but we need some numbers. So that's why Indonesia introduced the odd even license plate number. Why are we learning this? We're learning this because of its link to, always comes on Maktab, global warming. Air pollution is a greenhouse gas. Our Earth is surrounded by an atmosphere. So if you look at this globe over here, look, there is an atmosphere, correct? So if planet Earth is like this, look very quickly. Which is bigger, Earth or the Sun? The Sun is 1,000,000 times bigger. I can't draw 1,000,000 times bigger because it's much more than me big enough. So our Earth is surrounded by atmosphere. Then every day, when the sun comes out, we get something called short wave radiation, sunlight. When the Earth moves, when it's nighttime, the heat is supposed to escape out into space. If the heat stays, what will happen? The Earth will explode, correct? So what's the problem? What are we learning about evolution? Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. I'm using my phone. Can you see? Pretend this is the sun. Humans are living on the earth, correct? People are polluting. More greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So what happens? Look, come and you help me. From video. So let's say this year also carbon dioxide being released. So look, another layer is added to the atmosphere. Nobody's doing anything about it. Another layer is added to the atmosphere. Nobody's doing anything about it. Another layer is being added to the atmosphere. What does that mean? That means our atmosphere is getting so thick, so double. Now, most of it, some of it does escape, most of it gets re-radiated back to Earth. And what's going to happen here and here? If you look at the North Pole and the South Pole, the polar bears are dying. They're drowning, they can't get access to food. Okay, certain insects are going extinct. All that kind of thing. Is that okay, guys? Always comes to the next time. Okay, let's open our PDF file for a while. Quickly, please. Now I got to let you study for 3 minutes. Essential PDF file, video, and notes. Please study that for 3 minutes. use now for the reflection. Okay, use it later. Yes, that's quite a thing. Did you read it last night? Oh, the video, the video. Beautiful up there. Yes. Is that already? Can I give one more minute? You should have done it last night. But I'll give you time to link to the MOE. So that you move to the individual reading. Everybody done? Yes. Good, still reading? I know some people are higher ability, some people less ability. Some people have better intellectual level, some people less. Okay, but don't worry, you can ask me anytime. Okay? So anyway, look at me guys, now I have to teach, but very short. Okay, because you guys are going to do most of the work. Okay, that's what the government wants. Okay, so first thing, what's our topic today? Our topic is about energy strategy. Lots of people, when they see the word energy, don't get panic. When they see the word strategy, they get panic. Okay, don't be scared. It's a simple concept. Look, energy strategy means power plan. What is Manchester United strategy against Chelsea? That just means what's their plan? How are they going to play? Correct? Energy means power. Later when you get into the car and when your mother or your father, whoever asks you, apa kau belajar hari ni? What did you learn? You will say energy strategy. Then your mother or father might say, apa kau? Then you will say it's a power plan. Then if they continue to ask you, they might say, what is power? Power just means, a fancy word for power, just means electricity. Don't think negative physics or nothing to do with that. Okay? Do we have power in this class? Yes, we have electricity. Look at the station. What are they doing inside there? We're going to have a visit. Okay, soon. I'm just waiting for them to reply. They burn gas. Some countries burn coal. Some countries use wind. Some countries use wave energy. Okay? But the energy strategy that we're going to talk about is Costa Rica. But before I talk about Costa Rica, the energy strategy that you choose has to meet two criteria. It must be enough supply for current demand, and there must be enough supply for future demand. If Maktab duli was to implement solar energy tomorrow, mungkin na cukup. So our strategy has to be based on what we needed now, currently, and in the future. Everybody follow me? So if you know about that, then you can make strategy, you can make a plan for it to be sustainable. What does sustainable mean? It can last long term. Is that okay? When Brunei's oil and gas finishes, what's Brunei's next strategy? Everybody knows. We're going to go for coal. Brunei has a lot of coal. Remember I sent you photos of the train in Kampung Bagas looking at the coal? Brunei has a lot of coal. Unfortunately, during this moment in time, if you were to use coal, the amount of pollution is quite high. But who knows, in the future they will be able to make modifications, their filtering system, it could be a clean energy. Okay, Brunei has a lot of coal. Alright, the other thing that you need to know that the energy strategy of your country has to be affordable. Why are we burning gas? Because gas is plentiful in Brunei. I don't know about you, but for me, you know how much I pay every month for my power, for my electricity in my house? I only pay $6. Cukup for me. So how come so cheap? Because I wake up at 6, I come to Maktab duli, later I go home for 1 hour. I sleep every night for 8. So I'm basically in the house, okay, for about 8 hours, 9 hours. And at night I don't use much aircon. I keep the aircon on before I go to sleep, 2 hours before I go to sleep. So if I sleep at 8, 8:30, I turn off the aircon. Because I cannot sleep if the aircon is on. Because I wake up, turn off. And when I panas, I turn on. I wake up, turn on. So instead, what I do is I turn the aircon and I have a little fan. So it keeps the breeze around. So energy has to be affordable. Brunei is one of the cheapest places. It's $6. Okay. The other thing that we need to know is what's Brunei's energy strategy. Just because we're in Brunei, the energy strategy is using gas because we have abundance. Unfortunately for Brunei, our energy strategy, what kind of resource is oil and gas? Very good, and renewable. So now we need to learn case study of a country that does the opposite, Costa Rica. Please look at the map this time. Costa Rica is a beautiful country. I went there about 10 years ago. Really, really beautiful. What's this naughty country's name? USA. This is called North America. Canada, USA, Mexico. What's this big country over here called? Famous for football? In between North America and South America, there is a place called Central America. Over here, not a very big country, you see? It's a country called Costa Rica, very near Panama. Everybody follow me? So our case study today, and you already watched the video, is about a country in Central America called Costa Rica. First thing that you need to know, what's the capital of Costa Rica? Very good. Look, how do you spell Jose? Not San Jose, San Jose. Next thing that you need to know, just some geography knowledge. What's the population of Costa Rica? Same like Singapore. Who knows the population of Singapore? How many million? Very good. About 5 million. Good. 5 million. Next thing that you need to know, listen, look at my mouth. Costa Rica is the best country in the world in terms of energy strategy. Do you know why? Look, 99% comes from, what's the opposite of non-renewable? Renewable. This will include, look, solar, hydroelectric power, geothermal, and can anybody help me if the last one starts with the letter W? Alright, so we've covered all this. We know the advantages and disadvantages of each. Solar talks about getting energy from the sun. Hydroelectric power talks about energy from the river. Geothermal talks about getting energy from the volcano. Why is that? Does that mean Costa Rica has volcanoes? The answer is yes, because it is located in a magical place called the Ring of. So if I were to mix the map like this, look, like that, you will see that there looks like a ring moving all the way. So if I use the globe, anytime if I use the globe, and I always use the globe, it looks like a ring, but not really. It starts here, can you see? From North America to Central America, to North America, to Japan, to Philippines, to Indonesia, all the way to New Zealand. Ring of Fire. What is the Ring of Fire? It has a lot of plate tectonics. Very good. We did that last year during AS. Okay, over there you tend to have a lot of earthquakes and starts with V. Volcanoes. Awesome. Next thing that you need to know, Costa Rica, 99% of its energy comes from renewable energy. 1% doesn't come. Abang Alam, why not just say 100%? 1% doesn't come from renewable energy because 1% they still use some fossil fuels. Why is that? I thought they're so efficient. Why do they still have to use fossil fuels? The reason is because they still have cars, combustion cars. But they said, I don't know if it's going to come true or not, when it's Wawasan Brunei? In 2035, same date, Costa Rica, they're going to have 100% clean transportation, electric buses, EV cars. Everybody follow me? No more oil combustion. So if I live in Costa Rica, and I bring my Pajero there, in the next 10 years, I cannot drive my Pajero anymore. Okay, because they want to be 100% renewable energy. And they're doing well. Okay, they're doing well. The other thing that they've done is they become, it's an amazing achievement, the United Nations champion. Because they're the only country that can get all their energy from renewable. Another country that might come close would be Norway. So your friends in the other class, most probably they're doing the Norway case study. Okay, but we're doing Costa Rica. But if you want to do both, it's okay. Alright? And the most amazing thing that they've got so much energy, right? They're selling it. They're exporting it to the nearby countries. Can you say Nicaragua? Panama? Guatemala? Honduras. Those are the 4 countries. They've got so much energy, right? They don't know what to do about it. They're selling it. They're exporting energy. Brilliant. Okay? Alright, let's look at our objectives now. Before we break up into our groups, let's look at our objectives before we break up into our groups. Any questions about this before I move on? Alright. How am I doing, Madden? Alright. Next one. Before you break up into your groups, please look at me. I want everybody to be involved in the group work. Where's the... We're going to have some whiteboards. Each group, can you break up into your groups and take the whiteboard? Please quickly. And hands. Please break up into your groups. Can everybody look at me. I want you to take notes. Okay, make the presentation. You must listen to each other. All students must participate. I want to see good discussion. I don't want to walk around later, guys. Nobody's looking at me, and you're just sitting there. I want to see conversation. I want to see discussion. Share your views. Now, I want you to be independent. Look at me. I want you to be independent, and I want you to choose who's going to be the speaker, who's going to write, who's going to choose the buzzword. I leave that up to you. Okay, because independent learning. The other thing that I want to see in each group, I want you to work collaboratively. Okay? Try to cooperate, try to communicate. So, okay? Brainstorming. Have you ever heard the saying, guys? 2 heads are better than one. But we haven't got 2 heads today, we got 3 heads better than 1. So good ideas and things like that. And also later when we present, record this, you take photos, like maybe we won't make videos today, okay, but take photos to share in our IG. Okay, remember the principal looked at our IG and she was very happy. Okay, we're gonna add it to our IG today. Is that okay? And the last thing I want you to do, not only do you use the notes, you can use textbooks and things like that, but more critical thinking. I just came back from UPD last Thursday and I learned about teaching geography and AI. So you can use AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, okay, see what they say about your presentation. Not only that, guys, after your presentation, you can actually take a photo of your mind map and buzzwords, and the AI will let you know what improvements you can make or what changes you can make. Is that okay? So you already break up into your groups. Okay, so group 1, who's going to be group 1? You are group 1. Okay, group 2 and group 3. Group 3, you only have 2 today because she is still in hospital yet. How long has she been in hospital? 2 months. 54 days. Okay, so we continue to pray for her. Alright, so you guys only have 2 left. Okay, but we share with Shikin, even though she's in the hospital. Okay, don't leave her out, we share with Shikin. So, okay? Okay, so group 1, look at me. Your presentation today is a little bit easy. Okay, I want to do scaffolding. Scaffolding, so we start from easy question, medium question, and hard question. Is that okay? Scaffolding? Alright, so your question is a little bit easy. Not super easy, but a little bit easy. I want you to do understanding of the PDF. Is that okay? So what I want you to do is to write down, discuss with your friends, and probably characterize what you read about energy strategy. Group 2, a little bit tough. How do you spell analyze? If you live in Brunei and you speak English, UK English, it's Z. If America, S. Is that right? So what do I want you to analyze? I want you to analyze the energy strategy linked between AS and very good. Okay, so you guys, I want you to try and differentiate, do some differentiation. We already know about global warming, we talked about it last year. How do you differentiate from that? You can always use information. Okay, so try and do, how do I say the word tweaking? Okay, tweaking the topics together. Okay, and the other thing I would like to say, because I know some of you, your English not very good, it's always okay to think in Malay. Remember, most of you, not all of you, most of you, your mother tongue, your first language is Bahasa Melayu. You speak Malay, no? What do you speak? Yeah, so it's okay to speak, to write it down in Malay, and then you later you translate it in English. Is that okay, guys? Okay, and then group 3, the hardest one. Group 3, I want you to do evaluation. Evaluation of what? The successfulness. This is very difficult to measure it. You can't just say something successful. Look at me, guys. I want to see the new Superman movie. I can't say, oh, it was 100% amazing. Okay? There might have been some slow bits. Right? So again, the successfulness of what? the energy strategy. So this one, I want to see some differentiating, maybe some comparison between the different energy groups. Remember I said it wasn't 100% successful. How many percent was it this time? That's right. So that's a hint. So look at me guys, I'm going to give you 8 minutes. And then we will present for 2 minutes. So start now please, as I walk around. Start now please, as I walk around. As I walk around, I'm going to ask who's going to be the speaker. Alright? Yes? What's up, Bob? Oh, yeah. You do the bottom. And especially later, like I told you guys, when they present, you get the photo. Yes? It's up to you if one person wants to take it to. Guys, you can make this a good question. She said only one speaker drink. It's up to you. I give you independence. It's up to you. You choose. Okay, but you must work together. Alright? You must work together. So use the PDF. Ryan, are you using PDF? We've done all this. We've done all last night. Also, you sharing with it. Do you two mind having you on the subject? You know that. Do you mind having you on the subject? You know. That's a good question, actually. Guys, he asked a good question. He said, limited to the environment, not necessarily. Okay, you can put the human aspect into it as well. Remember, geography is not just physical geography, it's human as well. That's a good question. But only the extent it has to be all environment. That's a good question. So just add to it, don't talk too much about it. Guys, look at me, I forgot to say that at the back of the whiteboard, buzzword. What does buzzword mean that you need with it? Okay. Looks like one group's finished already. Don't panic, yeah. Some groups are going to be faster than others. Different type of question. Underline the that, yes, good. That looks very neat, no? It's very neat. think most of you are finished already. That's brilliant. What's with the back? What's with the back? Okay, we got 2 groups finished. Well done. One more. Try and finish in the allocated time. Remember, guys, in the exam, you have 1.5 hours to finish 4 questions. I don't want to hear after the exam, say I didn't have time. Now's the time to practice. It's called time management. Time management. You find that? All good? Alright, good. That's a good word. Let me see your word. What's your word, David? Everybody done? Seems like it. Okay, girls. I need to take a photo. Please present. Hold on, remind. Okay, girls. Present. So I want this boys group. Nobody's looking at me. I want this boys group to ask questions, but also to give marks. Have you heard of the word peer? What's peer mean? Friend. So I want to see some peer assessment. I'm curious, how many marks would you give each other? And also to ask questions. Okay, go. Louder.
We're going to be presenting based on our understanding of the media that is first of all, energy strategy. Besides this, that there is the core panel of the energy strategy. It is important to know what non-renewable energy is, and as well as the other idea is what are considered as renewable energy. Renewable energy would be like solar, hydroelectric power, wind and wind. Well, one case study is the Costa Rica, Costa Rica, of the and are recognized by the
Very good. Affordable means most of the people will be able to pay for it. Is that okay? Alright. Why can't we get it for free? Because infrastructure is not free. Correct? We need maintenance work and all that. Which group will ask the question? Lift up your hand. Yes, okay. Hold on. How many out of 10? 9. You give 9 out of 10. Okay, first senior. Why do you give 9 out of 10? Not much I got 10. What else? Not too fast. Maybe they are nervous. Okay, they are nervous. But it's okay. Look at me. The information is all right. Okay, but I appreciate that. 9 out of 10. Okay, do you have a question for that?
Which renewable energy is the best energy for Brunei?
Which, if Brunei had to forget about oil and gas, which renewable should they choose? Hydroelectric power. Why did you choose that? Very good. I would choose the same hydroelectric power because we have lots of rivers. There's a big river in the light. Yong has big river. I think that's the best. Why not solar? Why did you choose solar? That's right. With lots of rain, cloudy most of the time. Suddenly we get no power. Things like that. Well done. Give them a clap. What's your buzzword? Sustainable. All right. Do you agree with them? They gave you 9 marks. You agree? Okay. Well done. Next, group 2. Give clap, please. Group 2. Group 2. Ini tolong Bapak. Okay. Quickly, boys. Okay, fast. Listen. Get ready for the question now.
So, group 2, analyze energy transition to global warming. Global warming, I must bring that more figure. There is always creation degree needed. This leads to the birthday more hotter.
CFC is carbon dioxide, and methane, which is air.
When did you learn about that?
I believe last year, I remember something. So what you said that methane was like parts.
Correct. Correct. Continue.
So it's like the energy because like you did the power. So first EV is clean electricity. Second EV is the renewable, but you can take that's the efficient. Plus D is more solvent. But more solvent can also actually increase the global warming because more building of roads and concrete and also the absorb carbon dioxide.
Who can tell me what you call that? Urban something island. Urban. Very good. How many marks? 10. Wow. I'll give my marks later. Okay. What's your buzzword?
1, 2, 3.
Pollution. That's a good one. Alright, take a photo already. Okay, next one, group 3. So this time you got 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I'll give my marks as well. Continue. This group is supposed to be 3 but 2, but it's okay. We pray for chicken. It's okay. We share the photo with chicken. Okay, let's go. Nearer so they can see. Okay.
Evaluation and the successfulness of Costa Rica case study. Yes, almost 100% people in Costa Rica is using renewable energy, and by 2050 there will be zero carbon emission, and they have so much energy that they even export energy to countries such as Panama and Honduras. And they not only rely on one type of energy, they have HEP, wind, solar, and geothermal energy. The problem is people are still using fossil fuel car. Challenges to HEP to generate energy when there is drought, and building a large dam can cause death if there is a earthquake. And building a geothermal energy is expensive and dangerous because people are exposed to volcanoes. Lastly, the policy SIP was moderately successful because Costa Rica has energy sufficient and the energy is sustainable for a long period of time, and the renewable energy is less polluting. Our password is decarbonization.
Any questions? How many marks first? Give 10. Any comments? What did you think?
Very well said.
Yeah, you spoke very well. I like this word. Can you turn it around? I like the word moderately. When he used the word, look at me guys, listen. Moderately successful means it wasn't 100% success. Mostly successful, but a little bit of unsuccess. So I really like how you use the word there. What yes. Because it's 99%. If it was 100%, then it's totally successful. So moderately successful is 99%. Is that okay? Alright, let's give them a clap. With this group, you gave 9 out of 10, but I felt that actually it was 10 out of 10. I know you said they spoke too fast and no eye contact, but I gave 10 out of 10. You know why? Because in the exam, those evil Cambridge examiners, I call them evil because results, they're very strict and things like that. They're not going to see your visual, they're not going to see how you talk, but your information was all correct. You spoke well, okay, and the way you wrote it was very, very neat. I think out the 3 notes was the neatest, so I give 10 out of 10 for that. For group 2, I give 10 out of 10, well organized, very logical, the way you explained it, and also good training. Okay, the way you were able to bring the AS syllabus mixed with the A2. And then group 3, that was probably the best as well. Also deserves 10 out of 10. Okay, good eye contact, and I like the word how you use moderately. So I think you're very good at assessing each other, but apart from that, I'm really impressed with your presentation. Is that okay? Alright. I give you 1 minute to use these models. Let's try and apply your knowledge. You know what moderately means. I want you to locate where you think renewable energy should be located on these models. Okay, you can choose any type of renewable energy. Remember, there are only 4: wind, solar, hydroelectric, and geothermal. Give you 1 minute. 1 minute. Apply your knowledge. 1 minute. Okay, everybody come together. Let's see what energy do you think deserves here? Why do you say winter heart? Okay, how about can we do hydroelectric?
Yes.
Where? 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 Can we do geothermal?
No.
Why not?
Okay.
Correct. How about you? What's the main energy source? Why do you say that? That's volcanoes there, correct? Can we do hydroelectric?
Yes.
We can. Can we do wind? Yes. How about solar? You can, because there's going to be light. So actually this is the best one because you can do all four. Remember, that's not every place can do geothermal, right? How come Costa Rica can do geothermal? Because they're located where again? The ring of? Alright. That one didn't have volcanoes, so obviously you're not going to have geothermal. Okay, I like how you explain that. How about this? Wind turbine. Can we do geothermal? Alright, fantastic. Who's going to do the reflection? Okay, you two, I give 1 minute to do reflection as fast as you can. You can refer to this. Everybody look, 1 minute, go.
How is it? So firstly, we start ordering by the by
Clearly.
firstly we do our by our my friend
Timmy.
and then secondly talk with the that all this today. And then thirdly the objective here is the understand, analyze how it helps us today. And also the of course the reflection which is advocacy.
For the second one, after that, is that we were given a test, and then when we confirm our ask us questions about what we learned previously before, then we will be summarizing what we learned before as well. And then we will do the learning with the PDF and the video as well, beautiful video. And then
Yes, go ahead.
that's all that as well.
Okay, continue.
And then someone teach about the
Okay, okay.
then we did group work.
Alright. Give them a clap. So before you fill in the exit cards, now it's time to look at professional Mr. Mark do the summary. Is it my turn to do the summary now?
Yes.
Okay, so what did I do today? Today I set high expectations. Please take photo. I set high expectations. I wanted deep thinking, concentration, good quality of work. I used differentiation. I used two techniques. Don't worry about it. In teaching, I use the affinity technique and matrix technique. Hamala, don't worry about it. Just means easy, medium, and hard questions. Then I use assessment for learning, peer feedback, and I gave marks to you. And also later you're going to do exit card. Can you start filling that exit card while I talk? After that, active pedagogy, I did dialogic questioning, group work, student presentation, and then ICT. I did add ICT because I gave you a PDF file. Then we're going to use social media, IG, WhatsApp. We're going to share Sheekin and also post it. How about you guys? Students learning. What did you learn? Look at this. Independent learning. That's when you guys had time on your own to read the PDF carefully. Once we have done that, we have done collaborative learning. I used the word brainstorming. We saw group discussions, peer assessment, especially when you were doing your mind map and choosing the buzzwords. I like to see the discussion, brainstorming, everybody giving their opinion. That was fantastic. Also, critical thinking. Ryan, you mentioned about using textbooks. When I said to you, you can use AI. Okay, using DeepSeek, using ChatGPT. There are many. Okay, you can take a photo and also ask for opinions. All right, maybe we can do that tomorrow. Don't write the whiteboard yet. And then the next one was reflective practice. So now you're filling in your exit cards, and we had a game-based reflection. I was there. So that was your student learning. And then the next one was, what did you achieve in class? Student achievement, outcomes, clear progress, tracking. Before and after, you actually learned something, right? Costa Rica, You know about understanding the PDF file, analyze AS and A2 plus together, and also evaluation of successfulness. We saw it wasn't 100% successful. We used a beautiful word, moderately successful. And we use real world application. I gave you some models and you were actually able to pinpoint. If this was Brunei, we could do energy here. Why not? Why not do non-renewable energy? Why not do renewable? Right? So we talked about that. And the purpose of this early on is because of this. Why are we doing all this? For the exam. We want to go to university. And the other achievement that I saw, all of you are very, very confident. Okay, when I was your age, I was very shy. I hope the teacher doesn't pick me to speak, but very confident. The way you speak in front of your classmates, the way you answer questions, the way you give marks and things like that. The only thing I would say is, we had 3 groups, we got 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, jump to Sasa. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I believe that you also got 10 out of 10. Okay? Is that right? The next thing I would like to say, before I collect the things, we'll forget about all that. At the end of the day, why are we doing all this? The clear purpose is for exam. Tomorrow, no school. Tomorrow, no school, but sports day. So when we come back on Saturday, this is what we're going to do. Look at this. What were we talking about today? Energy strategy. So very, very popular. 2023 came out. Always comes out 15 or 20 marks. Evaluate the success of what? Electrical energy. So we can say Costa Rica's success, not fully success, moderately success, and then we can go through it. Right? With all the notes that we got. Yes? Yes, turn off the camera. Any questions before I collect the exit cards? No? So tomorrow I will meet you at Sports Day. Then on Sunday.